In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a tension sculpture like this one, built of dowel rods and rubber bands. For this project, you'll need a dowel rod, some rubber bands and nails, and then as tools you'll need a hammer, saw, pencil, drill bit and drill, tape measure, and a scrap piece of wood will help a lot. So let me point out what I have is a 4-foot long round dowel rod, 3/8 of an inch in diameter, some number 16 rubber bands, they're about 2.5 inches in diameter, and 1-inch panel nails. You'll need 12 nails and about 24 rubber bands. Now what I'd like to do is cut the dowel rod into 6 pieces of equal length. It's a 48-inch dowel rod, so each piece will be about 8 inches. I noticed there's a little bit of a blemish in this, which is about to crack actually, but it's about 16 inches from one end, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to try to cut 2 pieces on one side of that and the other 4 on the other, and so to make that work I'm going to make pieces that are about 7.5 inches long, but you might be able to make with a 48-inch dowel rod of your own, you might be able to make slightly longer pieces. In any case, whatever size you choose is going to work for you. You want to make sure that you're able to create 6 equally sized pieces. So let me start off. I'm going to mark this at 7.5. And then grab my saw and cut it here. And repeat that 5 more times. So now once we have 6 pieces of roughly equal length, you might want to take a bit of sandpaper and smooth out the edges of the cuts. So the next thing I want to do is put a nail into each end of each piece. So we have 6 pieces, that's why I need 12 nails, 1 for each end. But if you think about to do that, if I hammer a nail into one side, I want to flip that over and then put a second nail on the other side. So that's why I have a scrap piece of wood, and I'm going to drill a hole into this scrap piece that the first nail can sit inside of when I hammer the second nail. So I want to get a drill bit that is smaller than the dowel rod but bigger than the nail head. So I'm going to use a 3/16 drill bit. And use that to put a small hole into the wood. I don't need to go all the way through, just far enough so that the nail can sit inside there. So now I can take my hammer, a nail, and the dowel rod, stand it up on end carefully, and then tap the nail without trying to hurt my fingers. Tap the nail gently into the dowel rod, trying to get as close to the center as I can. So you want to make sure you use pretty small nails so that you don't hurt the dowel rod. The dowel rod, again, that I'm using is only 3/8 of an inch in diameter. So I'm using pretty small 1-inch panel nails. And I might put it in a little bit farther, but I want to leave about 1/4 of an inch sticking out of the wood. And this is where my scrap piece comes in, because now I can fit the nail head into that scrap piece, grab a second nail, and again, trying to get as close to the center of the dowel rod as I can hammer the second nail into the other side. Again, I want to leave about 1/4 of an inch sticking out from the dowel rod. That's where the rubber band is going to go. So I'm going to do that for the other 6 dowel rods. Okay, we have our 6 dowel rods, roughly equal length, with nails sticking out of each end, 24 rubber bands. It's time to put our sculpture together. The way the dowel rods get arranged in the sculpture, they're going to be in roughly parallel pairs. So looking something like this, where there are roughly 3 parallel pairs, and those pairs are more or less perpendicular to each other. From each nail, there will be 4 rubber bands that connect, for example, from this nail, let's say, this will connect to the opposite ends of this piece, and there'll be rubber bands that connect to these 2 pieces. To actually put this together, let me start with just 2 dowel rods in my hand, and I'm going to connect this top spot to opposite ends of the other piece. And let me introduce a 3rd dowel rod then and do something similar. And now a 4th dowel rod. I'm going to slide in here and connect in the same way to the other ends. So these 2 ends are going to connect to opposite sides of that dowel rod. All right. Well, a 3rd piece, let me slide in here. Sorry, a 5th piece, let me slide in there and connect this one here and here, and then here and there. It's helpful to connect opposite ends so that the tension gets balanced as you go. Here and there. And then from this end, I'm going to connect to the closer of these 2. And the opposite side is over there. And so now my 6th piece is going to connect in similar ways to there, and then from the opposite side there, it's going to connect here and to the opposite side there. It'll connect here and to the opposite side there. And then finally, where am I missing? Here, and to the opposite side there. So I think I have 4 rubber bands. I think I have them all arranged the way they should. I can let go, and the tension should balance itself out. We end up with a sculpture that is somewhat like an icosahedron, except in an icosahedron there would be connections between these 2 points, and in our sculpture there is not. But there are roughly parallel dowel rods, and there are 8 essentially equilateral triangles formed by the rubber bands. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.